Join me. Together, we can rule the galaxy far from sun.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Hello there, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princesses. This is Todd Hoffman and Trent Hoffman. You're listening to Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 85. Today we're talking about the chapter 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. It is titled The Tribes of Tatooine. Unfortunately, Trent couldn't join me today, but we got a great show for you today. Once again, Happy New Year. I hope you had a good New Year. We're only 6 days in of this recording, and the world is going to hell in a handbasket here. So hope everyone is safe. Hope everyone is staying healthy. We wish you the best New Year. We had a great time New Year's. It's the first time we did, I've done a New Hope Death Star trench run for the celebration, and this time we did the Return the Jedi Death Star run, and I thought we were supposed to start, I read something, I was like, oh yeah, you're supposed to start at like 12 or 10:02, and it should go off at 12. Well, I started at 8:02 because we want to finish at 10. It didn't quite work out, but and you don't realize like how much footage is. I'm like, oh, when Wedge shoots the proton torpedo at the reactor and they circle around, it's time to go. But it's like more like 20 or 30 seconds, So just in case you want to know, it's when Lando is like Yahoo, basically. And as the flames he kind of shoots out of there, then you start to count down because it takes a little bit, and then the Death Star blows up. But yeah, the funny part is like we're like, oh, 10, 9, 8, and then it never happened, and we had to wait and do it over again. But it was a great time. So that was our little fun little New Year's thing we did, is watch Return of the Jedi, which obviously was actually it was kind of cool. Looking at it through like now the Book of Boba Fett lens and trying to figure out, oh, okay, yeah, this is the same, it's a little bit different, but yeah, it was pretty cool kind of seeing it like from seeing it with fresh eyes with what's going on with the Book of Boba Fett right now. So yeah, then we had that, and then it was Trent's birthday on the 2nd, so thank you so much for all the birthday wishes for Trent. He really dearly appreciated that, and we went to Galloping Ghost. So over the summer, that was one of the things that we did to celebrate kind of the summer and Trent and all that stuff, and so he wanted to go back there for his birthday, and so the whole family went, and it was a lot of fun, and we got to play so many video games and till our fingers were cramped, and so we got to celebrate that before he had to go back to school. So it was a lot of fun doing that. So, but we got a pretty interesting episode this week. Like right off the bat, I just liked it better than the first episode. I was a little disappointed on the length, as well as just, again, not getting a lot of meat, especially with the Sarlacc pit, but it's already done. It's in the bag. But this episode is, let's see here. Let's get some facts here. Okay, so the tagline is, Boba Fett faces new challenges on Tatooine. It's directed by Steph Green. It was written by Jon Favreau again, and it's coming at a whopping 50 minutes. Wow. This is like exactly, I think, the right amount of Star Wars you want. Again, there's no commercials, there's no nothing, there's no time frame, so these can be as long as they want. Again, I don't want to have a fat episode or a very lean episode, but this seemed to be just enough meat and potatoes to get your full meal here of Boba Fett. So we really it seems like we're getting this kind of future right now, what's happening in current Tatooine, and then some flashback scenes. Every time he dips his head into the bacta tank, we are getting some flashbacks of what happened to his journey, or part of his journey, when we meet up with him in Mandalorian. So this one leaves right off where we had the parkour assassins try to take him out, and as you remember, Boba Fett asked Fennec to keep one alive, and so he does, and she does, and this is a fun little bit where we have 8D8 kind of playing the interpretation droid, and then we got the two Gamorreans and Fennec. It's a small circle, but the assassin is not talking, and we feed him to the Rancor. Now, immediately Trent and I are like, wait, they have a Rancor? I didn't think they did, but who knows? We don't know. So I was like, oh my gosh, I am so grateful to see this. And then right before the gate is opening, he tells them that he was hired by the mayor, Mach Shiaz, I don't know. Again, I am horrible with Star Wars names, but it was kind of cool. We get the gate opening, ready for the Rancor, and it's a rat. Now, people say, well, there wasn't rats in Star Wars. Are there Star Wars rats? Well, actually, we got to see normal rats in Star Wars, actually, in Jabba's palace. So that's one of the things that C-3PO is scared about. So that's kind of your first connection right there. You know, one of the things as we go through this episode, there is so many Easter eggs, and some things that, you know, maybe a casual fan might not. I mean, you're not going to get lost too much in the sauce, but there's enough there. There are quite a few Easter eggs, and yeah, it's but you know, the thing that I like about Star Wars 2 is that they borrow from other movies and other genres, so it's kind of like this. You know, it's kind of like Shrek. It's you know, layers, onion, you know, onion boy here. There's layers, and so, you know, not only are we looking at it from, okay, they're trying to replicate what was going on in Tatooine, what we saw in Return of the Jedi, and obviously we've seen a little bit of a rehash with Mandalorian, but now we got little nods to other reference material inside the Star Wars universe, outside the Star Wars universe, like, you know, the creature from last week, the sand creature, was very Jason of the Argonauts, kind of very stop motion, got like a Clash of a Titan kind of feel to it. And that's a nod to all the predecessors, and Stranger in the Strange Land is actually, I believe, a sci-fi movie in the 60s. So those are, you know, there's just these little nods to you know, like all the movies that obviously influenced on Star Wars. And we get a little bit of that now, kind of jumping ahead, but like even Tatooine and the spice and all that kind of stuff, that's directly from like Dune. And so we just got a modern version of Dune recently, and obviously it looks a lot like Star Wars, well, because George Lucas read Dune and borrowed heavily off of that. It's a thing. So Fennec and Boba, they take a stroll into Mos Espa to get to the mayor, and this is the Thorian, okay? So the Thorian is Hammerhead that we see in the cantina, but he's got a cool little voice box, which was first introduced in the Clone Wars cartoon. So because the Thorian has like 4 mouths, and you can't really make it out, but with the interpreter, you can tell what he's saying. And he's like, I didn't put this hit on, and one of his guards kills him. So it's kind of, I don't know if you can trust the mayor, but Mock says no. Dude, there is a guy. Well, even before that, we get So they right before they get into the mayor's office, the dude that's the secretary. I just love him. He's got a space mullet. He kind of looks like the Snitch from A New Hope. If you're not familiar with the Snitch, he is just another 70s kind of mustache guy with like a almost an imperial hat. But yeah, he's seen in the cantina, and he's the one that kind of tips off the Imperials and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, the Snitch, he kind of looks like that. He just looks like a government employee. I just love his look. I love the space mullet. I don't know what that guy's name is, but he's one of my favorites now. So then we get the jerk man, Mojo Jomo, or Major Domo, or whatever his name is, the humanized kind of Twi'lek. But Boba just walks right in. We get the mayor with an interpreter. We got the assassin dies, and he's like, okay, maybe you should go see the sanctuary again and talk to Fwip. And Fwip is the Jessica Biel character Twi'lek. And so we get to Jessica, we get into the sanctuary again, which is the bar. We got the Rex looking droid doing the casino stuff. We got an R4 droid playing drums. I mean, this stuff is like legendary. We have, I posted this. I believe that has to be Max Rebo. I need a story on that. I just need a story on Max Rebo. How the heck did he survive the sail barge? That's the story we need in a future Disney Plus show. So, but the music stops, and we get these kind of drum beats that we're hearing, and Fwip, I don't know, says like, hey, the twins are the cousins of Jabba, and they want claim on the Jabba's territory, really. So, two big surprises here. I just love the introduction of the twins. They're on this kind of big, like, platform. There's like Weequays and Niktus and some humans carrying these two huts, and they look fantastic. First of all, I don't think that, I don't know, I think there's, let's just say 15 dudes carrying, there's no way. There's no way. They need some repulsor lifters or something to help them with the weight of these two twins. Now, at the cousins, they have the brother has like a little rodent thing that has like this little antenna, and I believe that's from a Marvel comic creature back in the 70s. So you got that reference, and then we got a modern reference with Black Krrsantan. So if you're not familiar with Black Krrsantan, you got to check out some of the new Marvel stuff, and he does a job with Boba Fett as well. He's got a little beef with Obi-Wan. I don't think that's the last time we're going to see Black Krrsantan. But yeah, he is a gladiator, bounty hunter, the whole nine. He does it all, and he is fantastic looking, lifted like straight from the comics, super awesome looking. In the comics, he has like a bigger bowcaster, but here he has like this huge rifle, like this huge sniper rifle. It looks fantastic. So we have that. Boba's not even phased by him. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's just fantastic. So we have that kind of little reference. And Boba's basically saying, this is my thing. I'm not intimidated by you. And so then we kind of, I'm trying to think what the transition is to that, where now he's in the back to tank. But yeah, the twins are like, well, we'll be back. Don't you worry, we'll be back. I really feel bad for those people carrying the huts too. But I'm trying to think. I can't think of off the top of my head what that transition is. But we get Boba back into the back to tank, and then now this is where we get the flashback. So we have again the warrior princess kind of teaching Boba the ways of how a Tuscan is battling with the gaffy stick. And this is super cool. I really like this. He's kind of learning the ways of the Tuscan. And then we get this kind of weird, at first I really thought it was a Kyric dragon, and I could almost think that it sounds like a Kyric dragon, but it turns out it's like this huge hover train. They got snipers on them. I immediately they look like pikes. I wasn't 100% sure, but they take out some of the Tuscans, take out another bantha. These poor banthas, man. I love me a bantha, but they get taken out. And they're always in these shots too, which I like, is that they're like super resistant of moving. You can always see the Tuscan like trying to pull the bantha. Bantha's like, I'm gonna do what I want, bro. And but yeah, we get that, and then Boba sees the Swoop Gang again, as far as what we saw in the first one. And so he kind of correlates like, hey, if I can follow the Swoop Gang, I can grab the speeders and do something about this train. So he tried to communicate the chief, and he's like, give me a day or two, and I'm going to go do this. So we see he's got a rifle and a gaffy stick, and he goes to Toshi Station, man. Not to pick up power converters, but we get Toshi Station, which is just a great nod. The only way you can see Toshi Station is the deleted scenes. I believe they're on the Disney Plus. You can get the deleted scenes there. But we have a deleted scene where Luke is looking up and actually looking at what's happening with Leia's cruiser as well as Star Destroyer, and he sees the action. And so then he runs to Toshi Station because he knows his friends are there, and we get Cammy and Dozer, right? No, Cammy and who is the other dude? It's not Dozer. It's not Tank. It's escaping me. But the boyfriend of Cammy is there, and they're like the same people that we see in A New Hope now, or in A New Hope in that deleted scene. They're not seen anywhere else. And so we get a reappearance of them in Toshi Station. So we get this kind of cool shot of Boba walking into the bar, and he meets business. And we got the Swoop Bike Gang. They have these kind of cool like jackets. And on the arbrush, it says Tatooine. That's the only thing I can make out. So I don't know if they're like the Tatooine sand bats or whatever. But the Hutta symbol that they keep on putting on is KK. Now, I don't know what that means. Not sure. That was not really explained. But they're a bunch of Nikitos. And yeah, Boba just takes them out. We got Cammy and boyfriend who is escaping my name. It's not Tank. It's not Dozer. It's like some simple name too, and it's killing me. Whatever. So they have a little scuffle. He's mad because Nikito took his drink, and that's when Boba walks in. And yeah, he takes up unlike where we got to see the flashback of Jango or Boba holding on to Jango's helmet, the scene's slightly off. There's not the way that was shot in episode 2 is not the way it is portrayed in Book of Boba. So some people were complaining about that. This Toshi Station is point for point just like in the deleted scenes, is fantastic. It's great. So Boba messes everybody up, takes a drink, and now he gets the Swoop Bike Gang, all their stuff. And right away, the Tuscans try to, strip it for parts. But he's, no, I'm going to teach you. These are mine. And so we get this DMV kind of course, or DMV kind of lessons, how to drive a swoop bike. I just love the designs of these. They're fantastic. And Boba teaches them the way of the swoop bike, and they have these kind of lessons where they're jumping back and forth, yada, yada, yada. And so now it's the plan. He gets the kid involved, the Tuscan Kid, like, hey, you're going to do this, like thing with the glass so we can figure this out. And now it's on. Now we got this train heist going on, very similar to Solo. Obviously, there's actually some hatches that pop up, and we get the same thing as Solo as far as cover. It's very cool. We got the Pikes coming in, trying to shoot, and we got this little train heist thing going on. Very cool. Very awesome. We get a display that kind of looks like Anakin's pod racer. As far as this thing, we get this cool little droid that's doing the train conducting, kind of get that, kind of get the Polar Express kind of thing going on. You're like, oh man, there's all these levers and switches, and this droid's doing all this thing. But eventually, there's a couple lost, but Boba saves this one as the the kind of swoop bike is exploding, and then the tribal leader Queen Lady comes in and takes out the Pikes, and they destroy the train, really. And now they capture all the Pikes, and we get to see an unmasked Pyke for the first time. Pikes are known in the Clone Wars, and they're a little bit different design than what we see in this version, but this is the first time we see them unmasked in live action. And so what they claim is that they thought they were a bunch of savages, and that they are just doing they're just protecting their shipment. And he talks about spice, and that they have spice, and like I said, this is the kind of correlation between Dune and Star Wars. And so spice is a drug that also is mined off of Kessel, and obviously there's definitely a business of drugs going on in Star Wars here, and the Pyke Syndicate is part of that organization, or part of that crime underworld. So we get the Pikes, and so Boba's like, send them on the way, single file. And he's like, we're never going to make it with our water. And he's like, I'll give you some black melons, not lemons, black melons, or yeah. And so that's what they're drinking, or drinking the milk of the black fruit there. And so they then also get the spoils of the train. There's a water tank that the Tuscans are using. Not very good, by the way, but they're grabbing water. They've never seen so much water. And so it's a good bounty. And now they're protected by the tribe, in a sense. And then the tribal chief gives him a gift, and the gift is his lizard. And you're like, oh, he's so cute. Trent was like, oh my gosh, that's such a cute lizard. And then the lizard goes in Boba's like nose, and he kind of has this drug-induced tribal walk, which I really enjoy. It's like something that Boba has to do in trying to become part of the tribe. And it's also very native Indian related, where he has to be accepted. And as soon as I saw the tree, I'm like, that's where he's going to get his gaffy stick. And so there's a couple different flashbacks. We get to see Jango and Boba again. Boba is looking as Jango's leaving, like, Kamino. We get a different shot. It's a totally different shot, which is kind of cool. There's just a lot of different flashback stuff, and then there's Jawas in the tree, or he sees Jawas, and all kinds of crazy stuff. But basically, he comes back from the desert with a big, large stick. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yep, that's what it is, gaffy stick. So now he goes to an outpost of where they are going to, well, first he gets dressed as a Tuscan, which is super cool, kind of tribal, like how he dresses. And then it makes more sense when we see Daddy Pants Boba in Mandalorian. He's using both the Tuscan and his armor as a combination of like who he is, which has greater meaning, I think, than just Daddy Pants. But anyways, we get this cool shot of he goes then to this forger, like it's like the armor of Tuscans, but it's a straight up reference to Ralph McQuarrie painting, which is fantastic. And then he learns how to make this gaffy stick. It's super cool. I really like that. They are using some practical tools like a chisel and all this stuff from the real world. But at the end of the day, it's still very Star Wars, and he makes and crafts this weapon that is his. And then they come back, and then they do a dance, and some of that dance is like the fighting moves he learned. This is also a reference to Ralph McQuarrie painting of Tuscans going around this fire. I really like the scene. It's very, like I said, very native, very Indian. And it kind of speaks to like their nomadic tribe. The locals don't like them, and they think they're savages, but they're not really. They're a very complicated race, but they're a little misunderstood. So I like kind of those parallelisms there. It's kind of sci-fi in a sense of speaking about what we did. There's layers again. There's cool stuff there. So we get that. It's a really good episode. So then that's how it ends. We have a little dance party, little fire dance party, and that's how it ends. And I really enjoyed it. I think I mean, the two surprises for me were the two Hutts, the twins. I really loved the reveal, and then Krrsantan was a big win for me. I was like, oh my gosh, and I almost want to guarantee it, but I don't want to. But I'm gonna say it. I think he's gonna be an Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's just my thought. Anyway, really cool episode. Really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts. I think it definitely, we still need to see probably a little bit more of like his feelings and what this means, and like Fennec and that relationship and what that means. Like, is that really a life debt, or she just wants to be the number one assassin? Like, there's still something there that I want a little bit more out of, and understand the Sanctuary and Flip. I think there's something intriguing about Jessica Biel, it's a Jessica Biel character, and just trying to figure out that a little bit more. And I'm also wondering if we're going to see more Krrsantan. That would be cool. It would be awesome to see that. But there you go. That is the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 2. Already 2 down, 5 to go. So super exciting. It's great. It's great, Star Wars. Definitely a little bit more encouraged than what I saw from last week. And I'm hoping that we will get more of that. World building. There's another little thing that was kind of cool where they talk about Tatooine being full of water, which is something that is also brought up in in the EU, and so that was kind of cool. Like that they've been here since when the waters left, and so that was kind of cool, kind of seeing that and hearing that. So getting those kind of little nuggets, kind of expanding the lore and respecting the EU and all that kind of fun stuff. I want to see where that partnership or adoption to the Tusken Raiders for Boba, what that means, and maybe we'll get to see that a little bit more. All right, so that's a wrap for episode 85. You can find us on the socials, Big T Little T Podcast on Instagram, BLILT Podcast on Twitter, twitch.tv, Big T Little T. We got stickers, man. If we want to hear from you. So comment, rate us on Apple Podcast. You can drop us a question or tell your thoughts about Big T or about Boba Fett. What's going on? What is getting you excited for the new year as we embark in a lot of Star Wars content? You can email us at bigtlittlepodcast@gmail.com, and that will get us. We'll read that and we'll play it on an upcoming episode. Try to answer your questions. So definitely drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. Now remember, truly wonderful the mind of a child is, and may the Force be with you always. Bye. Peace, peace, peace. We'll see you later. Bye, bye, bye.
That's funny. The damage doesn't look as bad from out here. Are you sure this thing is safe? Oh.
Well, come on, get in gear.
Shape it up, you guys. Hey! I didn't know you were back. I never expected you to be on working. Well, the academy didn't change you much.
Oh, I must have forgotten. There's a battle going on right here in our city.
Not again. Forget it. What's all the noise about? Come back down here and play the game.
I think Wormy's got too much sun.
There they are.
That's no battle, hotshot. They're just sitting there. Probably a freighter tanker refueling.
But there was a lot of firing earlier. Hey!
I tell you, Luke, the rebellion's a long way from here. This planet, big hunk of nothing.
I doubt if the Empire would even fight to save the system.
Hey, you watch it.
Don't worry about it, Wormy. Darth Vader, only you could be so bold.
Take these two over to the garage, will you? I want them cleaned up for dinner.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done. Now, come on, get to it.